What's going on YouTube? It's your girl Steph and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, I will be discussing my life after fibroids. So if you'd like to hear about that journey, keep watching. Before we get started, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Let's get started. Hey you guys, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be discussing my life after fibroids. If you did not get a chance to see my last video, Living with Fibroids, please make sure you check that video out. Today's video is a follow-up on that video. In today's video, I will be discussing the type of surgery I had, the recovery process, and a few other things. I do have my notes here just to make sure that I touch every point that I wanted to make. And before we get started, I want to stress that health is wealth. I took fibroids very lightly, but I did not realize how much it was going to impact my life, and it did significantly. So please, if you are unsure if you have fibroids or you think you may have fibroids, please go get tested. And if you do have fibroids, please do something about it sooner than later, because if you do not, you will suffer before being forced to do something about it. When I found out that I was diagnosed with fibroids, I realized that my diet played a major factor in the size of the fibroids and the amount of fibroids that I actually had. Diet is very important. What I learned about your diet is food that is high in estrogen feeds the fibroid. On May 7th, I was rushed to the emergency room to have an emergency surgery. The night before my surgery, I met with my surgeon and I told her that I wanted to have a myomectomy. She informed me that because of the size of my fibroids, my largest fibroid being 19 centimeters and my smallest fibroid being about the size of a golf ball, and because of the location of the fibroids, that she will try her very best to save my uterus, but if things got too complicated in the operating room, that a hysterectomy was going to be necessary. I went into surgery the following morning. Surgery lasted about 5 hours. They were expecting surgery to last about an hour or two, so that was more than double the time they expected to spend in the surgery. I lost a lot of blood. They discussed me having a blood transfusion because of that. My surgeon even stated that this was the most complicated surgery she's ever done in her career. And honestly, I was afraid. I was super nervous. Even after the surgery, I thought I wasn't going to make it. I lost a lot of blood. It was crazy. Even before the surgery, they informed me because of the fibroids and the amount of blood that I was losing on a monthly basis during my menstrual, that I needed to have a blood transfusion in order to have the surgery. Otherwise, it wasn't possible. I tried everything. I tried eating red meat more regularly. I tried basically upping my dosage in iron pills. I tried doing the iron fusion. I tried to do everything I could do so that I didn't have to have a blood transfusion. And that was the most scariest part of the actual surgery. My doctor informed me, because of the size of the fibroids and the location of the fibroids, that she may have to cut me vertically instead of horizontally. And I was a little afraid about that, but I had no other choice because I waited too long. Had I had surgery sooner, I would have had many options. I could have done the robotic surgery. I could have done a laparoscopic surgery. Instead, I had to go with the myomectomy, an invasive surgery, because of the size and location. Because I have hypertrophic skin, which I originally thought was keloid skin, my scar bubbled up. It was to the point where wearing jeans was painful, wearing certain clothing was painful, sitting in a certain position was painful. I was a little insecure about wearing my stomach out or two-piece on a beach. And so I decided to hire a surgeon when I had my C-section. My gynecologist informed me that she would cut in the same spot, which would basically give me an opportunity to have a new scar and to heal differently. And this time around, I was able to hire or find a plastic surgeon to come in and close me up. After surgery, I stayed in the hospital for about 7 days. And even then, I was not ready to come home. So they kept me an extra day. I was unable to walk for the first 2, maybe 3 days. And the doctors advised me that it was not healthy to have surgery and come out of surgery and just basically stay in bed. And so they forced me to get up and move around and walk. I remember the first time that I tried to stand up, I passed out. I just didn't have no energy. I was discharged about 8 days later, and it was horrible. My recovery process was painful, very painful. I was basically helpless. I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't speak. I couldn't laugh. I couldn't talk. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. I needed someone to accompany me to the bathroom. I needed help in the bathroom. I think you guys saw, if you guys saw my last video with my daughter, Mornings with my daughter, you will see that my living room and my kitchen is all in one place. I have an open floor plan. And so I could not make it from the couch to my refrigerator to get something to drink. I remember David took very good care of me. I was so lucky to have him. I also had some people from my church come in and bring me food, and I was so thankful for them. I even had another woman from church take me to my doctor appointments when David couldn't. And so I did have a lot of help and a lot of support, but I needed 24-hour care. Walking into the doctor's office was also painful. Every 3 steps, I needed to take a break. I needed to rest on something or on someone. It was too much. I couldn't bear it. And to be honest, once I found out I was pregnant and I had to have a C-section, I was very afraid because I felt like I don't want to experience this again. In fact, I was told that fibroids, surgery is just a temporary fix. Fibroids, they do come back. And I will make sure to take care of those that problem sooner than later, because I cannot go through what I went through. It was just unbearable. It took me about, I say, 2 months to actually be able to do things on my own. Before that time, I would get up and move around, maybe back and forth to and from the bathroom or to and from the kitchen just to get something to drink. I couldn't do much, but I tried to push myself, but not too much. Eventually, I started to take walks around the block. That was a little exhausting in the beginning, but I had to build up my stamina again. It was like learning everything all over again. I realized that we actually take things for granted because the very things that I just did freely, I wasn't able to do during the recovery process. And even when I had fibroids, something as simple as urinate, we don't realize that these things are not so easy for some people. And so I would say it took me about 2 months to actually get moving. I went back to work, and although I was actually back at work, I was not done with the healing process. I was still healing, so I still took things very slowly. I gave myself more than hour extra in the morning to get myself together. You know, I walked like an old woman. I walked like an old woman because I was afraid that if I move a certain way that I would aggravate the scar. And long after, you know, the 2 months or me returning back to work, I was still healing. So truthfully, it was just a long process. After removing my fibroids, my life changed drastically. I mean, my cycle changed. I went from having my period for 7 to 10 days to now having it for 3 to 5 days. I went from soaking a pad in an hour to basically having light periods. I was actually able to wear liners during my cycle after the second, third day. I had no cramps whatsoever. Prior to surgery, I would know when my cycle would basically arrive. A day or two before, I would get cramps in my back. You know, I would feel a little, you know, moody. But after surgery, you know, it was just like so unexpected. Like it just would show up. I totally would forget about it because I had no signs. I had no cramps. It was just the best thing I could have done for myself. And I regret not doing it sooner. If I would have taken care of the fibroids a lot sooner, I would not have the scar that I have today. I would not have had the pain that I suffered from. I would not have had the periods that I suffered with. I would not have had the accidents and the mess that I basically just experienced. It was just a lot. And having surgery, having the fibroids removed was the best thing I could have done in life. Seriously. In life, because I was able to have my daughter. And that I never expected. So I am so thankful for my doctor. I will be sure to link her information below if you guys want to check her out. She came highly recommended, and I was so thankful to her. Remember, you guys, health is wealth. Fibroids, they are very serious. If you think you may have fibroids, please go get checked out so you are sure. And if you do have fibroids, please go see a doctor and talk about your options. I hope this video was helpful to somebody out there. I hope that this video reaches whoever may need to hear this story, and so that you are able to do something about your situation. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I will definitely get back to you. And if you have any suggestions, any remedies, any information that someone can use, please link that information down below. I thank you so much for watching my video. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until next time.